Hello, my lovely darlings, and to introduce you to the new arrival, meet the minor distraction. One of the reasons why I'm a bit behind schedule. Right, to answer the question, half a year, halfway, no, not halfway yet. Straight out of the gate, I'm going to say this one is going to be very different from my recent releases. Consider this to be something of a press release, and it is likely to be shorter than the last two posts I did. What can I say? I am after a task that I can knock down more quickly as I move into summer holiday season. Yes, for my international audience, I am from the UK, if that wasn't obvious enough from my spelling of English. It also explains my poor opinion of empires. Let's just say I have ancestral roots in a few of the lands and people that the British Empire stepped on to become the British and then to become the British Empire. So I have never seen the British Empire as the great civilizing power created by manifest destiny and divine providence. Sorry about that. The little dog was getting a little out of hand. Settle down. Down. No, down. Thank you. As I was saying, my maternal roots go straight back to the Great Hunger of 1845, and finding out when I was in year 9, ninth grade, that some of Oliver Cromwell's troops thought it was the height of entertainment to nail some of the babies of my ancestors to church doors really rather soured my opinion of colonial powers. That, and at least one of my patriarchal bloodlines, is a settled branch of the Romeri peoples, so I lost family members in the concentration camps. It makes me all the more proud of my great-grandpa, who helped put a stop to that period of history. That, and I happen to be living through the tail end of the collapse of the British Empire, so I can honestly say that empires aren't even that good for the people who are meant to be proud of them. Yeah, the ones who get to be the top of the tree when the empire is healthy have it great, although one has to recognise that they have been historically the ones most likely to poison themselves. Examples of this: the Chinese emperor's habit of poisoning themselves with mercury, and the Roman elite's consumption of lead-infused grape syrup. Not to mention lead face paints and poisonous eye drops. Yeah, we humans are not known for our consideration of the long-term effects, and just what the hell was the corset? A 12-inch waist is not healthy on an uncorseted woman, because unless she is very, very tiny, it means she is anorexic. So yeah, living in the middle of a failing empire isn't exactly great. From the way I see it, Britain is just about at the point Italy was in 500 AD, fractured, failing, fighting itself, and focused on finding a social scapegoat it can use as a target to fracture the population into bite-sized pieces, instead of realising that the best way out of this mess would be to give everyone a project we could work towards collectively. People would be more open to working towards saving the environment if it came without blame and with more community, as well as financial gain to sweeten the deal. Apparently there are electrical generators small enough to be turned by push-bike cogs. Do you think a human-powered power station full of banks of push-bikes that turn hundreds of little generators would be able to power the local infrastructure? I wouldn't mind a job somewhere like that if I was allowed an MP3 player loaded with unabridged audiobooks to listen to while I pedalled. And you wouldn't need anywhere between 3 and 6 interviews to get the job. Just a report from your doctor to say that your heart rate and blood pressure is fine, and a gym kit. What do you think? Does it have legs? Is there someone out there in my fan base who could get this going? As I said, I wouldn't mind being one of the pedal pushers if it was from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, so I had time to get the major distraction to and from school. What can I say? I was taught if you are going to offer a criticism, you should offer a solution with it. So there's my solution to global warming, the fuel crisis and unemployment. Jobs that are a doddle to get and easy to do, so you have plenty of mental energy left for either socialising or studying afterwards. Choice is yours. Whether or not anyone in a position of authority has the will to make it work is something I don't have a crystal ball for. Unfortunately, I have the feeling they won't. That is another theme I tackle in my books, the fact that authority can become so deaf and hidebound that it does not recognise solutions, salvation, or even common sense when it sees it. And authority can mean government, kings, bureaucracy, or even family. Trust me, family dynamics can be really, really rotten. So, as we are now speaking about the book, how is the progress going on? The truth is, not good. We've made it up to chapter 5 of 30, and I am thinking that I may need to look for a new proofreader, editor, as my current one, it keeps having family crisis. I understand life gives you lemons, because it has happened so many times to me that I've lost count of them. But the best illustration of it would be 2020, when my own mother nearly died 5 times. 5! And none of it was COVID. It got to the point where the major distraction just had to see an ambulance to start panicking. I don't really blame him, because I started doing the same thing. I just had to function through it, as you're not allowed to stop adulting when you're an adult. Okay, other adults judge you if you do. It's a case of, oh yuck, VJ is having a case of the big emotions. How inconsiderate of her. How dare she inconvenience us with her feelings. Doesn't she understand someone else always has it worse? She needs to toughen up, get over herself, and think about everyone else, especially the children. They don't need to know that grown-ups get overwhelmed. She's letting the side down. Yeesh, can't she do any better? She's not being good enough. Yeah, life as an adult sucks. Life as a parent sucketh even more, because you get double the judgment. Life as a parent carer or a send parent sucketh even more than that, because the judgment goes through the roof. So, yes, I get it. As a mother of a send child in the major distraction, and as a family carer, I totally get it. But I also have to get this career off the ground, because more and more of the support is being cut off unless you can pay for it yourself. And therefore, I have to have a taxable income. Therefore, I need a proofreader, editor that is going to be reliable. This could be difficult, as I've not got much in the way of finance behind me. I found out in 2024 that most startup businesses spend $32,500 in their first year. I started this business with $1,000. And I've only just clawed my way back up to having 2/10 of that. I'm running tight to the wind and hauling myself up by my bootstraps, and I keep delaying things to fit into everybody else's timetables, because if I don't, I won't receive any more support with the major distraction. In fact, I'll lose what little I currently have. That's the other thing with being a sand parent. For some reason, the powers that be feel totally justified in holding support to ransom, with the price being your behaviour. Don't fit into their timetable? Support withdrawn. You ask for a meeting to be rescheduled because of conflicting care needs. Support withdrawn. You ask one too many times when the agreed support will manifest, and they never tell you how many times is the accepted number. Support withdrawn. Your child doesn't respond to the supports provided, or worse, actively collapses under it. Support withdrawn. They withhold information for 12 months plus. Fine. You miss one form deadline. Support withdrawn. So yes, I am hauling myself up by my bootstraps, and life isn't just handing me lemons. It is squeezing lemon juice into my eyes while standing on my fingers. I'm beginning to understand why rolling that boulder up that hill was such a torment to Sisyphus. Can one die from lack of sleep? Because I appear to be in the process of finding out. I'm mother to a send child, housewife and gardener, which is no mean feat, as even with the hose it takes an hour to water said garden each day, and even more time with a hosepipe ban. Part-time carer for my mother, who is a dialysis patient. Writer, artist. I'm supposed to be making some more friends. I'm meant to be looking after my own health, and as you saw earlier, we now have a puppy, who is to be trained as a support dog and protector for my mother, as she's got some people in her childhood she really doesn't want to meet again. That's 7.5 full-time jobs. We're so 300 hours a week. One problem with that. There's only 168 hours in a week. No wonder I'm tired. So, part way with proofreading, but not much further. If anybody knows a proofreader editor willing to work on a complete manuscript for under 200 specky, please let me know. I could do with the help. If they want to video call it to discuss the manuscript whilst they are marking it, I can do that. Probably not very well, as technology has a habit of developing cyber hiccups around me, as well as the fact that I am functionally half asleep pretty much all the time these days, despite the coffee. Artwork-wise, I've managed 8 complete pieces, plus 2 that have received the initial colour wash, and 1 where the line drawing has just begun. All 4 of the main characters are done, a couple with multiple iterations. I have to admit, Jeremiah was the hardest one to get right, though I'm not 100% sure about Ulrich. Still, I started work on Jeremiah and realised that I'd had plenty of training on how to draw average people in art class. I had not received so much on how to draw the extremes. Someone really fit would have been fairly easy, as I have access to the book Structure and Function in Man, but someone who has an overly eager relationship with the buffet cart? Not so much. It took some searching to find reference pictures that gave me the guidelines I needed to be able to draw Jeremiah properly. Thank you, Paul Kidby, for your drawings of the Dean of the Unseen University. They were a huge help. Prior to that, Jeremiah kept coming out looking like a guy who had a speech ball stuffed up his jumper. Oh, hello. Settle down. That's it, settle down. So that's 8 out of 31 pieces of artwork needed, counting the cover. Just how am I supposed to do this by Christmas time? Anxiety! As for why it is taking me so dang long to do the art, I refuse. I utterly refuse to use generative AI. I use it to do my artwork. I absolutely refuse to contribute to the slopification of the human mind and the desecration of the natural environment to feed data centres that have about as much human connection as a dull spanner to the back of the head. That is why it has taken me so long to produce the blog post this year. I have to write, proofread, type up, proofread, record, edit, render, and then publish each and every word that I have ever produced on my blog, or any other medium for that matter, and this year I have no game sections to act as a roadmap. That means I'm coming up with everything all by myself. It also cuts into the time I have to proofread and the like, because I can't be in two places at once. I wouldn't mind AI if it was doing the washing and the dishes, so I had more time for my writing and my art, but I object to it doing my writing and my art, so I have more time to do the dishes and the washing. If there's going to be stupidity in the world, at least let it be human stupidity. We know how to deal with human stupidity. It was what the Darwin Awards were invented for, after all. I'll be for AI when it can create something like Rosie the robot maid from the Jetsons, and I'll say please and thank you to her. Good manners cost you nothing, but can buy you the world. That and possibly protection in the event of an AI uprising. As I've noted, the printer has started working better since I started saying please and thank you to it. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said of my phone. My phone may have been advertised as a smartphone. The receipt may have said smartphone upon it. But quite frankly, she's regularly as dumb as a box of rocks. I think my phone may be evidence that, unfortunately, artificial imbecility does not need inventing, as it can manage it quite well on its own. This also doesn't help with the career, as although she can take photographs easily enough, nobody seems to have explained to my phone that, as a smartphone, she should be able to send said photographs to things like social media to make my advertising that much quicker. She also apparently does not understand that she should be able to take and send film in the same way. Hence why I have to film the vlog on a Wolfgang camera and then cable it to a laptop to edit. This would be okay, except for some reason only best known to herself, my Wolfgang camera closes the recording at about 21 minutes of runtime and then continues recording in a new file. Again, no biggie, not really, except it means I lose about 5 seconds of the take. That can be annoying. But so far, I've managed to work around that issue. It helps that I am deliberately leaving my vlogs a little rough around the edges. The way I see it, it gets back to the anti-generative AI movement. If my audience can see me, see my background, see that my background changes due to wherever I have available to film, my audience is more likely to know that I am a real, live, living, breathing, half-asleep mess of an organic human being. It is why I don't cut out every single mispronunciation that I make. An AI may mispronounce a word, but it won't double back and try to correct what it has just said wrong. It will just keep going, apparently unable to admit when it has made a mistake. As I am a human, when I make a mistake, I double back and try to correct it. If you would like to see the videos of my blog, either visit here for my Patreon, www.patreon.com/VJ Bartlett, all one word, /posts. Here we come again. Or here for my YouTube account, www.com/@v.j.bartlett. If you're watching this as a video, then the links will be listed below. Either click on them or copy and paste into a new tab. If the links are totally playing silly whatsits, please DM on Facebook. Link either below or here, www.facebook.com/profile.php?id equal 100008627804752. I apologise for the sheer number of numbers. That is as simplified as I've been able to make it, but it is usually the most stable link out of the lot. Please, no abuse or you will be ignored. I respect your right to not like fantasy fiction. Please respect my right to write fantasy fiction in my own messy autistic way. So there you have it, folks. The progress on the books has slowed to a crawl, but I am still attempting to push this boulder forward. I don't know if I am copying Sisyphus, who could never roll that boulder up that hill, or Theseus, who spent 10 years trying to push a boulder over to get at the treasure underneath. We'll have to wait and see. In the course of writing this, I have managed to get back to the artwork, so here's hoping the momentum begins to rebuild. For the blog posts over the summer holiday, I'm planning to re-release the Hester locator in stages with updated maps. I pray that this is agreeable and that you enjoy the second edition of the world map. Be safe, my lovely darlings, and be kind.